Hey guys, I'm Glitter Valkyrie, and after a year, we finally have another Sacred Stones banner. I actually have a lot of mixed feelings about the choices for this banner, but we can talk about those feelings as we go along, and let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I want to start out by saying that I actually almost did not pull on this banner. I was so disappointed that La Rochelle was not on there initially that it took me like a day and a half to get over it. But after lots of thought, I do want all of the 5 stars on this banner, and so we are going in. So we're going to stick to all the focus colors. We're not going to pull any greens, hopefully, and we'll just see how it goes. But I was very happy with some of the characters' choices on the banner. I had been waiting for Gilliam and Cyrene for a very long time. They were both on my bingo board from like 2 years ago, and I think they did an amazing job translating Gilliam into Fae. He really holds a special place in my heart. He reminds me of a penguin and I love him. And I usually don't like too many armored characters, but I feel like he is going to be incredibly useful. And I love that they made him different in Fae, and I just really want to get him. But I also feel like I have to get Cyrene too. She was like one of my go-to flyers in Sacred Stones. There were a lot that I didn't use in that game, but I always used her. She was one of my favorites. I liked her hair. And I also loved her relationship with Gilliam. And so I feel like we have to get them both. So hopefully that'll happen. And I also will be pulling colorless today for Tana. Oh, that is Leith. You know what, to be honest, I don't use Leith, but she is a Valkyrie, so that is okay. Okay, let's check IVs. And she is plus speed, that is very good. But I was starting to talk about Tana, and after I got over my initial disappointment that it wasn't La Rochelle, I did decide to pull for her for a couple of different reasons. Oh! You know what? Nime has amazing fodder, so I'm happy with that. Okay, let's check IVs. And she's also plus speed. I think it's a plus speed kind of day. So we will just keep going. And as for Tana, I think that her art is really, really good. And I actually do like her as a character. Like, I don't love her, but I do like her. And I think that the major issue for me is that I have some fatigue with the amount of alts that she's gotten, because I really did enjoy the flame duo that she had. She was super cute. I loved her with Peony. But I feel like that was fairly recent, and she's had a lot of representation. And this may seem strange coming from me, but I feel like Inez would have fit this a little bit better. And I do not like Inez at all. But I feel like it would have fit. He doesn't have quite as much representation. And of course, while I would have wished for it to be La Rochelle, I do understand that it makes sense for her to be with the characters from Frelia. So we will be pulling colorless as much as we can, just because she is cute as a character, but also she has that bow. And I feel like there is going to be some utility for that in the future, and I want to have one just in case they add Alchrist and for some reason he's a 4-star. I want to be able to just deck him out, and so having that would be really, really useful. And so if we get to 40 with nothing, I have no idea. I feel like the smartest choice would be Tana, but we'll just see how it goes. And lastly on the banner, we have Vanessa, and I do not want her. I was very upset that she was sharing with Gilliam because I feel like there's not that much value there. She's not a character that I have any attachment to whatsoever. I pretty much benched her as soon as I could in Sacred Stones. And while she does have a pretty decent lance, and she has some okay skills for foddering a couple different premium skills, she is not my favorite. So I'm sorry to those Vanessa fans, but yeah, I think that does cover everybody. And so let's go ahead and answer our viewer questions. And as always, if I did not get to your question, I'm really sorry. I will try to do it in a future one. And if you think of a question you want to ask me, just leave it in the comments with #question, and I'll put your question on my list. And so our first question today comes from Rich Pichu and Alexis B. And they both asked which emblem ring was my favorite to use. And there was also an additional question from Rich, and they asked, apart from La Rochelle or Sarah, who would you want to be an emblem ring in the DLC? Okay, so as for your first question about my favorite emblem ring to use, I think that I would have to say Byleth just for Goddess Dance. Oh my goodness, my gosh, I'm so excited to see her. Okay, let's check IVs. And she is plus res minus HP. I'm very happy with that. And getting back to this very lucky question, I was saying that Byleth is my favorite for Goddess Dance. It's such a good skill, and I am so dependent on dancers that it was just an incredibly, incredibly useful skill. I'm pretty sure that's the only way that I was able to beat Maddening by using that skill, and so it has to be my favorite. But I will say honorable mention to Lynn. She is a ring that like you could just slap on anybody and she'll just make them good. I personally loved using her with Ivy, but she can be used with so many different characters. So I think that those two were my favorites. And as for the second question about an Emblem Ring DLC, I think that I would choose Xander. I really do like having the Camilla ring, but I would have definitely preferred to see Xander, and I feel like he doesn't get quite as much representation as he should, but that would be my choice. But thank you for those very lucky questions. And let's go ahead and, oh, okay. Well, you know what? It was bound to happen, so it is all right. Okay, let's check IVs. And she is minus speed. That is okay. You know what? I do like her lance, so there is that. But we will just keep going, and let's go ahead and answer our next question. And this comes from CryoWolf33. And they ask, which special banner that we haven't seen in a while would you want to come back if you could only bring back one? So that's actually a super easy choice for me. I would bring back the Dancer banner. It was actually something that I looked forward to every single year, and I loved every single one that we had. And I was so sad when it just like up and disappeared for, I think it was like, oh my goodness. I'm so excited to see her again. Okay, let's check this one. And she is minus attack, but that is a merge and a bow for somebody. I really like that you can like not truly sacrifice one of these rearmed heroes when you're giving away skills. It is a really, really nice thing. But getting back to this very lucky question from CryoWolf, I was saying that I was very sad when the Dancer banner was replaced with, I think, the Cultural Festival, and I would love to see it make a comeback. But thank you for that very lucky question. And let's go ahead and answer our next one, and this comes from Mitchell. And they ask, what are some of the games in your backlog that you are the most excited to play? So my backlog is very, very long. I don't have a ton of time to play games, but the ones at the top of my list right now would be Triangle Strategy and Octopath 2. And this is like my not so secret shame. I didn't finish Pokemon Violet. Like I got to the end and then I just got distracted with other stuff. So it is something that I probably should finish in the future. But thank you for that great question. And we get Best Girl. And I think we should back out. You know, I really don't want to have to choose between Gilliam and Cyrene if we don't get either one up to Spark. So I think that we'll just focus on those colors now. But let's go ahead and answer our next one, and this comes from Platinum Witch 16. And they ask, what would your dream collab be with Fire Emblem Heroes? So this might be a little bit surprising, but I really am not a huge fan of gacha collabs. And I'd really love for Faye to just stay Faye. But if I had to choose, I think that I would go with Genshin. Oh my gosh. You know what? I don't think that I have Gregor. We'll have to check. And he is new. Let's check IVs. And he is plus defense. I am very happy with that. It's always nice to see something new. And it's also a focus charge, so that's great. But getting back to the very lucky question from Platinum Witch, they asked about my dream collab. So I would choose Genshin if I had to choose a gacha, but if we're talking about like a regular game, I would love to see like accessories from Zelda or Xenoblade get added to Faye. But thank you for that very lucky question. And let's go ahead and answer our next one. And this comes from Starflame34, and there were actually a couple of different questions. And they asked, what did you name your Wanderer / Scaramouche? And you may have answered this before, but what are your thoughts on Veronica's sister, Leticia? And lastly, with how much love the community has for Lynn and how many alts she gets, does it surprise you that we have not gotten a remake of Blazing Blade yet? Okay, so to answer your first question about Wanderer, I came up with the very, very creative name of Wanderer. Initially, I hate to say this, I was going to name him something very snarky that I'm not going to say what it was, but then I did his story and I felt bad for him, so I just named him Wanderer. And then as for your question about Leticia, I felt like she was honestly a nothing character. I felt like she was there as like a plot device and that was it, and then we never heard from her again. I can't remember if she's gone or not. It's really, really bad, but I can't remember. So yeah, I really don't think that she was a great character. And then lastly, about Blazing Blade, I'm very surprised that they haven't gone there because I feel like it would make so much money. There are so many people that love Lynn, and it really is a great game that more people should experience. And I would personally love to see it in the future. I think that maybe the only thing holding them back is that they have to maybe figure out what's going on with Binding Blade then, since Lynn is not there and everyone seems to love Lynn. But overall, I would love to see it in the future. But thank you for that great question. Okay, so let's go ahead and back out. And let's just hope that we can get Cyrene or Gilliam. I really don't want to have to choose between the two. But let's go ahead and answer another one. And this comes from Despair Gamma. And they ask, which FAOCs would you like to see as a ring in Fire Emblem Engage? And do you think that Signora will be playable in the future? And also, which of the Genshin Archons that are not yet playable do you have the most hype for? Okay, so as for the first question about a ring in Engage, I would love to see my absolute favorite Triandra get in. She never will, but I would love it. But I'd also love to see Legarn as well. And then as for your second question about Signora, I really don't know. I feel like they've hinted at maybe resurrection in some way, but also she's dead, so I don't know. She's not a character that I liked at all, so I would not pull for her, but I know that there are a lot of people that would. So I'm really interested to see what they do with her in the future. And as for your last question about Archons that we have not seen yet, this may seem strange, but I think the one I'm most excited for is the Tsaritsa. I really don't think that she is as evil as she is made out to be. I'm very interested to meet her. But I'm also very intrigued to see what's going on in Natlan as well, because I feel like that's the nation they never ever talk about. And I'm just interested to see what it's all about because it's like a total mystery. So I think that, yes, that's what I'm the most excited for. But thank you for that great question. Okay, Smoke, please, please, please be Gilliam. It's our penguin! It's a penguin! Oh my goodness! Oh my gosh, I am so, so, so excited to see him. And we hit 40, but we have to check IVs. And he is plus HP minus defense. I am so happy with that. And I feel like while we're here, let's just pull these colorless because maybe it's Tana. Okay, 3-star. We get Lena. All right, last pull. And we get a Norn. Okay, so now we can go ahead and do our Spark, and of course we are going to take Cyrene. I'm so happy that I'll be able to pair her with Gilliam. Oh my gosh, look at her. Oh gosh, I'm so, so happy that we're able to get her. And we get the thing. All right, so we're going to go ahead and end things here. I am so, so happy with how this went, and I truly hope that you guys are just as lucky. And if you are pulling on AHR this year, I know a ton of people are, I wish you the best of luck with that as well. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.